So, three takeaways from this week's reading. The first takeaway that I got from or reading was about the Iraq and how they were building the embassy and how like they said that it was one of the like best buildings it looked like, or it gave out this like x amount of money um to them, to then later seeing that there was a lot of problems going on there, from the wiring to the leaks to poor construction and things like that. And how the building just became this whole big safety issue. um I don't know, I feel like to me that would have raised a red flag. Like, how do you give out this much money and then boom, there's these many problems with it? Like, I'm not in construction, but I think that I would have thought about it, like, what's going on? Like, this is such a huge red flag. And then just to come to find out that there was a lot of individuals that were trafficked into the situation, their passports stolen from them, they were forced into the labor, living in these horrifying conditions, to the sores, the infestations. I was just like, oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine. And then the lady who was later on testifying about how she spoke on how you can't give painkillers to individuals who are operating heavy machinery. I thought that was just, she was just telling people how it is. Like, you can't necessarily do something like that. That's unsafe just in general, you know? So I thought that was one thing that I was reading that was extremely interesting. Another thing to me that I actually can say that I was kind of shocked about is, I guess I can say that I was shocked because I never really paid attention to it, was how Hurricane Katrina brought in so many individuals, and how they were trafficked. Like, I I legit did not think. I think that since taking this course, there's been so many new eye opening situations that I'm just like, wow, how did you not think about something like that? But just about how a lot of individuals were human trafficked and fixing up the area within all of these big businesses and things like that. I think back to chapter 8 and how it talks about how only the individuals were being charged, but not the companies and the big industries were being charged for the thing. So it's just like a cycle that would continue. And even thinking about the DOJ, like the model that was created, and things like that, and how they weren't client centered. Like, I don't know, I just think that because I've operated in client centered for so long, that I would think about how is this going to affect them, and how can we create these services for the victims and the individuals who went through these things, and then also implement how, I don't know, I guess I think that way. um but yes, going more into this chapter as well was talking about the um, the faith based. Um, I don't want to call it a university because it wasn't a university, but how they were given all of the grants, or it could have possibly been a university, but it was Catholic Charities or something to that nature, and how they were given all of these grants, and things like that, and how they were creating all of these things for children in 2003 and 2004, and how they continue to get all of these grants because they're so client centered and wanting to help the victims that are out there with human trafficking, not just child trafficking. um but I think about that now that I talk about child and youth. I think I talked about it in one of my discussion posts, about how I am shocked, not shocked, but I've never really talked to the police. I work at a group home for some context. But just, I've never had to deal with the police when a client AWOLs, or becomes a runaway. And one day, one of the new workers were like, "Hey, I don't know how to answer these questions. Can you answer them for me?" So I'm listening to all of these questions, and in the back of my mind, I'm just like, "Hey, these are like human trafficking questions. Some of the questions that they're asking about, like when they come home, do we notice that they are in new relationships? Do they have a lot of money?" Um, just a lot of questions that I'm like, I would have never known to have a second thought about them unless I wasn't taking this course. So that is one thing that has been like a huge takeaway and eye-opening thing for me, especially working with youth now and the individuals that I work with currently. And so it's just a big eye opener, and it makes me think twice about the individuals that I'm currently serving. So thank you.